All right, it's Sunday morning. The goose over there, I don't know if you can see the goose, is sitting on the ground, hopefully not on eggs. Hoping that's the male and the female is back over the hill there on our pond. So that would not be a good spot for a goose to be laying eggs with the stuff we have to do. This is one of our pastures and our hayfield, so we're really in the spring. So yesterday I had to go to St. Cloud, help out with the immunization clinic, and we had our local fire department from Watkins come out and burn our CRP. So I'm just walking down to see how it looked, because last night I got home around 9 o'clock or so and it was pretty dark. I could see that there was definitely some burnt areas along the road. We had about 3 inches of rain in the last week, so that probably didn't exactly help too much with the CRP burning. So there's some kind of low areas that they weren't able to burn at all, but that's okay. They did a good job with the areas that we need burnt off. There are a number of reasons to burn off an area like this. There was a lot of dead grass and thatch, and had been getting quite a few volunteer trees growing up in it. And out in the native prairies a long time ago, the lightning or Native Americans would purposely set fires, and by doing that it kind of regenerated the growth, provides a lot of nutrients to the soil, and kind of looks a little weird. It's just kind of charred. So I'll kind of watch this over the next few weeks to see how it greens back up. You can kind of see how trees kind of take off in here. There's a lot of willow. That's one of the kinds of trees that really likes to grow out here, so in the wet areas. The cows will definitely help knock this down, but having the willows kind of makes a real dense growth, which isn't great for grass being able to grow and cows being able to graze on it. The plan is to have most of this fenced in. There's a couple areas, one along the road towards the house over there, that will be, instead of fencing and pasture, will be kind of some wildflowers along the road, a strip all the way along the end, and then kind of straight ahead towards that pine tree, there's like about a half an acre that is wildflower plantings. And then somewhere here, I think this area right around here is also going to be wildflower plantings. So it'll be interesting to see what got killed and what didn't. These willows right here, these pussy willows, they seem to be doing just fine. See how they do. Good fodder for the cows. And then every once in a while there's these really cool mounds, and as I understand it, I think this is a ant mound, because that's definitely not something that was there before. It's not solid. It's kind of squishy, and I think the ants have built that up probably to have a little bit of a drier living space. Don't see any ants, so they either didn't make it or went somewhere else. This is the third time we've burned this off, and the last time we had more of a complete burn. This is pretty good though. I'm pretty happy with what they burnt. Ann texted me that they had not been able to burn the middle, and if it's just this little bit, and that's a really wet spot, but there's probably still water standing in there. If they weren't able to burn that, that's just fine. I'm okay with that. This is awesome. I'll insert a few videos here next of that Ann took of the burning process. She didn't want to get real close, so if the detail isn't real great, that's okay. I'll throw in some pictures of the last time that we burned it as well, because I think that was a little more dramatic. It was very dry when that got burned, and it really flamed up. I think the flames, you know, are probably a good 20 feet in the air. This one, I'm guessing the flames just kind of crawled along. But it'll be really neat to see how everything regrows and how the birds do, and the pheasants do in this area. Pheasants, you'd think that they'd like really thick grass to kind of hide in, but little pheasant chicks can't actually move and forage and find anything to eat. So what usually happens in those situations is pheasants don't hang out. So they really encourage burning things off every once in a while to get rid of some of the thick undergrowth and getting a little bit more sparser vegetation. Greta and I went through here and we dug out some pines that just kind of volunteered. This is one that I mowed around, and they did a good job making sure that it didn't get burnt up. This one just grew by itself. Nobody planted it, just was here. This is one of those areas that's going to be planted into wildflowers. So there'll be a fence that excludes this area here. And actually, right about here, I've planted in the past wildflowers as well. So it's probably a good stock. Another ant mound. Nice and squishy. There's actually some ants that are saying, "Get off my ant mound. Why did you squish in my ant mound?"
Today is April 17th. We are burning off our 20 acres of CRP, which has expired after I believe 15 years of growing, and we're doing this to clean out the old grass and give it a fresh start. It looks like we've got 2 spots started, one on the northwest corner here and then one on the southeast corner. We have the Watkins Fire Department out here. Awesome group of people who do so much for our community, all volunteers. Incredible men who are willing to give up their Saturday to help us out here. You can start to see the blackened ground behind the smoke. Cleaning up.
All right, let's look at the detail of this. So it looks like, you know, it's kind of just burnt on the top layer, but when you kick it, you see that's just ash. It's kind of neat how it burns the grass layer off, and that just kind of sits on top. It actually kind of protects the soil and shades it so that the grass can grow up again right underneath it. But dogwood galore. Look at all these dogwood. We'll see if that kind of singed them off and if that'll cut them back, kill them back, or if we're gonna have to come through here and cut them off until the cows can graze them more. But here's our CRP. It's burnt off, liking the way it looks. Next step is marking out the fence lines, digging corner posts, getting them set, figuring out a good dry week to plant the wildflowers in the areas that we have to plant the wildflowers, and then lots of post pounding. We'll be putting in metal T-posts and stringing high tensile wire. So that's the plan. Oh, we also have to dig a water line in. So we got a little bit of work this spring to do. Probably spring/summer. I don't know if it'll be the spring, but I have to have it done by September for our land management practice contract. More to come.